Good afternoon, family. Good afternoon. How y'all doing? Like, tag, and share. Come on, hop in. I'm taking care of some business today. Uh, Finally got home from the job after the storm that just passed. So Monday we just got back home, trying to get settled, and so it's a process. And then order for the next move. And so if you hadn't had time, go and check out the first part of Marriage Material. Give you a moment to hop on and welcome. How you doing, Sister Vassetti? Y'all know I got my water. I got my flavored water today. Got to stay healthy. It's been a great week. God has been amazing. Open door opportunities. Welcome from Southern Illinois. What's up, cuz? What's up, Deborah Peniston? What's going on? How you doing? As you can see, I got a new look today. So I had to go in the usage shop, clean this thing off, cut this down, take that off, New look, new month coming up. So things like that. It's a usage thing. It's usage fashion, So like they say, it's hair. It'll grow back. My sister Elaine, how you doing? How you doing? On this lovely Saturday. So now we since it's not really a preaching engagement, it's no use for us to take time to actually say an official prayer. We thank God for the broadcast. How you doing, woman of God? How you doing, Peter Carroll? Oh, bro, Miss White. Blessing to you, Mr. Jamila Casey. We need to help these people get married, but stay married, And then we need to help these people before they say I do, how to recognize marriage material, So we can cut this divorce rate, We can help people change their mindsets that's already said I do. And so I wrote down a few things while I was researching and studying. Also that I would deal with briefly, kind of touch and go, because at a later date, they probably can all be broken down into different segments of things to actually deal with, because I don't want to take up much of your time, because all these things could actually be different conferences and workshops and those kind of things of that nature. And so the second part of the marriage material deals with, how you doing, my cousin Sophia Scrubber? How you doing, cuz? The second part of marriage material, I want to touch a few things and elaborate on some, and let's go from there. And so, if you're writing, just write marriage material part 2. The first thing that you need to keep in mind also when you're encountering someone for dating, for courting, leading into marriage is you need to make sure that they are emotional available, you know, emotional available. That's very important because it's nothing more sadder than someone that's not emotional available to you, especially for a woman to a man, you know, and vice versa in some cases too. So, and those things can stem from a lot of times that person may be still emotionally attached to an ex-husband or ex-wife or ex-child's mother, child's father. Make sure those situations are worked out, you know. Make sure it's no attachment, you know, that they have detached emotionally, that it's no more I wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda, or I hoped that, or the blame game of I could have done more, you know, those kind of things, you know. So make sure when you're evaluating the person for marriage material that they are emotionally available, you know, because people cheat emotionally also. And emotionally could be them giving their time emotionally to someone else, someone that's texting someone else for attention, you know, or maybe they are on posts or in certain groups for attention to feed their emotions, to make them feel good about themselves or to build their confidence and those kind of things in those areas. So that is the first thing that I wanted to tackle tonight. Make sure that the person is emotional available. Make sure that you are emotional available. Also heading into this relationship, courting, and marriage. The second thing on my list that I wrote down was make sure that the person have a sense of humor, you know, which is very important, you know. Nobody wants to be with somebody that's serious all the time. You know, you ever met somebody that everything is serious? Every conversation that you have with them is serious. You know, you need somebody that has a sense of humor, that can laugh, that can joke, that likes to have fun, that you guys can enjoy each other's company, you know, and that you make each other's laugh, you know, have good humor, play good jokes on one another. And that's very important when you're considering marriage material, because nobody wants somebody that's 24/7 around the clock, that's always serious. There's no room for any humor, no laughter, and no fun. So that's the second thing on our list. Make sure that the person have a sense of humor. And as we know, God has a sense of humor. So he created us with a sense of humor. So we should have someone that has a sense of humor also. A third thing also that I wrote that I want to deal with concerning marriage material is that they are able to handle conflict, you know, and the reason being because everyone don't handle conflict healthy. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we have some people that have been in abusive relationships, whether it's mentally, emotionally, or physically, and they don't know how to handle conflict healthy. So that is definitely one of the upfront conversations you need to have when you're considering marriage material, that the person is able to handle conflict, you know, kind of do some role playing with it, find out. So If I did this, what would happen? How would you react? How would you respond? You're gonna go grab a knife, gonna go grab a gun, you're gonna call one of your family members. You see what I'm saying? You want to know where the person is at when it comes to handling conflict. Are they gonna start contributing to the household? Paying bills. Are they gonna be petty? They're gonna be catty. Do they do tick for tat? Those kind of things you have to consider. Some people don't handle conflict well because they never had to grow up. So you want somebody that knows how to handle conflict, because that shows a sign of maturity, that y'all can talk about it, that y'all can work it out, and that it ain't gonna be no violence. It ain't gonna be no repercussion. It ain't gonna be getting on the phone, calling your parents, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your sisters, your brothers, and all these things, getting them involved in your business. That's not healthy communication, because at the end of the day, once you guys decide that you're going to stay together, remain together, and move forward in your relationship, then it doesn't matter what anyone else says, So make sure that they are able to handle conflict healthy. It's nothing more important also in a relationship that you be able to handle conflict, because it gives your partner a safe place, especially from a man to a woman. A woman wants to feel secure. She wants to feel safe, knowing that a man won't abuse her mentally, emotionally, or physically. And then also the conversation that we don't talk about on the other side, for the man also. A man don't want to be mentally, emotionally, or physically abused also, as we've seen throughout the years. So let's make sure that it's fair on both sides when we have to handle conflict healthy. Number 4, an important one that is very important when considering marriage material, or if you're already married, in a relationship, courting, dating, is that you want someone that comes into your life to make you better. We see the post all the time. We see the tweet all the time. We hear the saying. We hear the slogan about "I'm better, not bitter." You want somebody to come in your life to make you better, not bitter. And that is not a competition. You're not throwing around your degrees and making the other person jealous or envious or what have you, that it becomes a competition. You making waves where there are none. You causing issues where there don't need to be any. But that you want to make your partner better. You want to make your partner better in every aspect, and making your partner better means that you are considering their needs. You're considering their livelihood. And let me give you a few examples. One example is, maybe they want to go back to school. They want to go back to school. They want to further their education. You should be in great support for that, because maybe that's an individual goal that could help you guys' partnership also. Or maybe they want to get involved in a business. They have somebody propose to them about a business, or invited them to a Zoom meeting, or maybe even a sit down, and they are looking at this opportunity. Be in support of that, because they're thinking further. They're thinking more than temporary. You want somebody that wants to do better, because the more the person becomes better, the better they are for you, and the better it is for your relationship. And then and the making better also, you want someone to make you better spiritually. You want somebody who has that relationship with God that's solid, that you can pray with, that you can study with, that you can fellowship with, that understand that ministry begins at home. It doesn't begin on Sunday morning stepping into a church. It doesn't begin on Wednesday night for Bible study. It doesn't begin when you're invited to join a conference call. It doesn't begin when you get an invite to join a certain group, certain platform, and none of those things. But it begins at home, because you realize to become better, you guys need God first. When you're considering being marriage material, that is a great trait. Also, someone you can pray with, someone that understands the importance of prayer, that having communication with God and y'all two coming together on one accord makes you both better for each other. In that the word also to fellowship, to build one another, to make each other better, because the Bible tells us that iron sharpens iron. So you want somebody that can make you better, to sharpen you, to challenge, that religious mindset, that traditional mindset, some things that you may have grown up with that may have been wrong, and you've never taken a look at it in the Word. You need that partner that can sharpen you, that can correct you, that can lead you, and you're not offended, and that it's done in love, and that you become better and you grow spiritually. Another aspect of your partner making you better, as we see a lot lately, is physically. A lot of people are doing health things now. People are losing weight. People are going to the gym together. Some people are working out at home together. Some people are trying certain supplements that they are taking, diet pills. I seen something that's a liquid liposuction, that helps you lose weight. I believe it's like a fat burner. It's over like a 90-day time period or what have you. I was even considering it. The reviews were so good about it. So you want someone to make you better physically also. And then also, marriage material, you want someone to make you better, that can make you better mentally. You want somebody that can teach you something. And I hate to say it this way, but nobody wants someone that's dumb. Nobody wants someone that's stupid. Nobody wants someone that can't educate them. Because let's not get it misconstrued. Just because a person has degrees or certificates in a particular field don't mean that they are educated. Don't mean that they have intelligence. A formal education don't mean that you're intelligent. Don't mean that you're smart. You need someone that can teach you something on every level, not just in one particular area. That means you need somebody that has a balance. And a balance has a scale. They're not all spiritual, but then they don't have no sense of humor. They don't have no individuality. They don't want to take trips. They can't do anything outside of the house. Those kind of things. You want somebody to make you better, and somebody to make you better, to help you explore life, to travel the world together, to see the world. God created this beautiful world, and we should see it. We should travel. And I'm quite sure if you've been following me, you know I've been many places. I've been many places. I'm a lover of jazz, so you'll see me at live jazz events. You'll see me going to different monumental places. Then of course, you know that I'm an activist, and so I'm all about educating for our history. So you need a partner like that. You need somebody that can pour into you to make you better, to show you a different side of life that you've never experienced before, because they invest in you so much that they want you to be better, because there's a better side of life. So that was the fourth thing. When you're considering a partner for marriage that's marriage material, or that you're already in a relationship, courting, or marriage, that you want to evaluate to see if you have someone that's of that caliber for marriage material. One of the last things that I wrote on my list for marriage material was that you want to make sure that you are sexually compatible. And this is something taboo that's not spoken about in churches, but I do. That's why God gave me Ready to Say I Do, the platform, so we can deal with these topics, so that we can deal with these issues when it comes to marriage material also, because it's a major thing that's going on right now in the church, in the body of Christ, where a lot of people are getting caught in adultery. A lot of people are getting exposed for cheating. A lot of people have side chick, side dudes, and those kind of things. And a lot of these things could be resolved. A lot of these things could not be an issue if you would have the conversation up front when you're considering marriage material, when you're considering going in that relationship, courting, and thinking about, is this a person that I'm sexually compatible with, that I can see me spending the rest of my life with? This woman, this man, forever. I want you to ponder that for a second, because the sad fact of the matter is some people never have had that conversation maturely going in, and you need to have that conversation. It's nothing ungodly about you having that conversation about being sexually compatible. And if that's a problem, that's an area that you might want to reconsider, because whether people want to admit it or not, sex is very important in the relationship, And as we know, people have different sexual urges, sexual drives, different fetishes, different needs. Some like it more than others. Some like it least. Some people like to explore. Some people are basic. But what I'm saying is you need to have the conversation about the sexual compatibility, because it's something that you are going to have to cross, something that you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life. And you want to make sure that your partner, considering them being marriage material or already in a marriage relationship, courting or dating, that's something that you can deal with for the rest of your life without cheating, without committing adultery, without getting a side dude or a side chick, as they say, but that you'll be sexually satisfied, with your partner, with their sexuality and what they bring to the relationship for life. And so those are the 5 areas that I dealt with tonight concerning marriage material. One was emotional availability. Two is that they have a sense of humor. Three is that they know how to handle conflict healthy. Four is that they want to make you better. Five is sexual compatibility. And I'm ending with a quote with a list of 5 things that you really need to ponder and consider for marriage material that out exceeds all these things that we covered previously. The only thing that's more important than what I'm about to cover is the relationship with God to be marriage material, which is the number one thing. But this last point that I'm about to cover for you here has to deal with understanding that everyone comes with trauma, a conversation that's not being had in churches, not being had in ministries. That's why we have people getting fake delivered. Yeah, I said it. Getting fake delivered, winding up in the same lines for the same prayers, getting the same hands laid on them with the same oil, and coming back the Wednesday night, Sunday night, year after year, still not changed, still not transformed, because it's actually trauma that need to be dealt with, that only can be dealt with professionally. So that means if you're not licensed in that area, if God hasn't gifted you in that area, you can't help that person get deliverance for their trauma. And some of you spouses need to hear this also, that if that's not your area of expertise and you don't have a license or a gift for that, that's not your anointing, you can't help your mate, you can't help your spouse in that area. So I want to read something to you. If you haven't gone through a major life trauma with your partner, then you really don't know them. That's the truth of the matter. If you haven't gone through a major life trauma with your partner, then you really don't know them. And I'm going to list you 5 areas that I researched and found. And these are the areas where you really get to know a person on an intimate level beyond sex. The first one I discovered was psychological trauma. The second one I discovered was childhood trauma. The third one I discovered was injury. The fourth one that I discovered was PTSD. And the last one that I discovered was death. You say, Bishop, what are you talking about? Break it down a little bit for us. See, some people are together, but they haven't experienced anything together to test what they say they are. They haven't had any tests to test the love. Test the sacrifice of that love. Test that unity, that oneness, that longevity, and that bond that should be forever, like they say, to death do us part. And you really don't know until you go through a life trauma together to know if you're in it forever. And so psychological trauma, somebody that has mental issues, somebody that's been traumatized psychologically in whatever aspect of their life. Maybe they've been rejected. Maybe they've been abandoned. Maybe they've been adopted. So many areas of psychological trauma that a person could be experiencing and you not know, but the actions, the symptoms are there. They need help, you know. Are you going to throw them away when you find out that they have psychological trauma? Everything else is good, but they have psychological trauma, and that's something that you have to deal with for the rest of your life. Do you love them through it? Do you help them get to therapy? Do you help them get to counseling? You know, do you still continue to pray for them? You know, or are you going to run out on them? See, that's why I said, you know, these things reveal, these life trauma things reveal if this really your life partner for marriage material. The second thing is a major one. I probably need to do a workshop on this one because this is a personal one. Also, I probably need to do a whole panel on this one because this one is very personal. Childhood trauma. You know, childhood trauma. You know, did you come from dysfunctional parents, or parents that were on drugs, or parents that never got married, you know, that just had a child together? Yes, it affects you. Yes, it affects you because if you didn't have the role models of that mother and that father that was healthy in a marriage, it affects your decisions, your outlook on marriage. You know, it does. It does. Or if you had a mother or father or whoever your parents that raised you, and if you constantly seen them argue, bicker, and fight, then that became your normal, you know. So you think it's okay to have the clapback ministry, you know. You sometimes it's better to be silent than win an argument and then lose the relationship. You know, you don't have to respond to everything, even when you know you're right. But see, that's childhood trauma because you always seen someone who's gotten the last word. You don't have to have the last word. You know, you have to know how to have peace and be humble and say, you know what? This is going to cause more issues. This is going to cause more trauma. See, because sometimes that person is just experiencing that childhood trauma that was undealt with since they were a kid. Since they've maybe been 4 or 5 years old, whenever it began, 6 years old. Some people in their teenage years. Some people all the way into their adulthood. And even now, you know. Some people have certain habits because of their trauma. They might drink a lot because of their trauma. They never dealt with the pain. They might smoke a lot, you know, or whatever to try to cover up the trauma because it's never been dealt with, you know. They might have anger issues. They might have several underlying issues because once you begin to pull a scab off of something, then you reopen the wound. And a lot of people don't want old wounds to be reopened from their childhood because they thought it was healed. See, so you got to even become a healer to your partner to help them become better from that childhood trauma, to let them know that I accept you as you are. I'm going to help you through this healing. We're going to get therapy. We're going to get counseling so you can become better, so we can have a better relationship. The third thing that I listed also about the life trauma aspect was that injury, you know, injury. Some people have had life-changing injuries. Maybe it could have been a foot amputated, a limb loss, you know, a bad car wreck that placed them in a wheelchair or paralyzed from the waist down, and other injuries. Some people, you know, just life issues that have lost things that cause injury, are you going to be by their side, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, when they got to go to the doctor appointments, when they have to go to the chiropractor, or maybe when they considering getting a certain surgery, are you going to be there? Are you going to be that ride or die, as they say, So life trauma exposes when people really are marriage material. The fourth thing that I wrote was PTSD. And I wrote this because I have military family members and I have military close friends that actually have PTSD. And you don't necessarily have to be military to have PTSD, but post-traumatic stress disorder, Maybe you've seen something, maybe you've experienced something, maybe something that you've gone through that's giving you this PTSD, Are you going to go to support groups, support meetings, Maybe they sleeping patterns aren't the best, Maybe they get moody sometimes. And you have to realize it's not them as the individual, it's that disorder that they have. Can you walk beside them then? Can you still love them then? And for the soldiers, they ain't no telling how many tours they've done. I have a partner right now. He's over in Israel. This is like his, I think, like 5th tour. And he tells me how, the things that he sees, the things that he experiences, and when he comes back to the States, he has to basically quarantine himself from his wife for about 2 weeks before he can even accept her as his wife normally, because he's trying to detox his mind from all the trauma and the disorder that he sees across seas and the things that he's experienced from war. Are you going to walk them through? Are you going to let them have that space, because this is therapy, and this is therapy sometimes that you yourself can't help them with, but just support them with. And so the last thing I want to touch on in the second part of marriage material is death. When you're considering someone for a lifelong partner to be marriage material, to death do you part, you better make sure that they understand that death is guaranteed. Death for you, death for them, but more importantly, that you have parents, you have aunts, you have uncles, cousins, siblings, children, schoolmates, business partners, people that you fellowship with, people that you have classmates that's dear to heart, and those kind of things. And death will uncover if you have a person that's marriage material that's going to last forever, because the loss of a loved one, the loss of a child, whether it's by abortion, stillborn, or maybe a child dying from a disease, or a child being killed. The loss of a parent that you love dearly. They've gotten up in age, they've gotten dementia, They've gotten Alzheimer's, and they're going to go one day. And so I'm going to end this saying, when you are thinking about your mother, your father, your child having their obituary, they're being eulogized, or when they have the graveside service of committing their body to the ground and committing their spirit back to the Lord, is this the person that you want sitting beside you? Is this the person that's going to be comforting you? Is this the person that's going to help you carry that burden, help you carry that load? Is this the person that might have the encouragement, the uplifting words? Is this the person that you can depend on to ride in the family car with you and not be embarrassed? Or when you guys enter into the church, you're not the laughing stock? Or when you're sitting graveside and they're getting ready to lower that casket in the ground, that person knows that you're in safe hands. This has been the second part of Marriage Material. I hope you've been enjoying it, and I hope to bring you more in this area. If you would like to contribute also, you can inbox me. I'll pray for you. You pray for me. Continue to follow us on all our platforms. Ready to Say I Do, Spiritual Checkup, Grace Ambassadors Church, and all other platforms that we on. I pray that you find marriage material, that you are marriage material, and that if you are already said I do, that you get the equipping to become marriage material that can make it last forever. Pray that you enjoy your evening, the rest of your weekend. God bless you. This is your brother, Bishop Anthony M. Utsi. Until next time, God bless you. Share this broadcast on all your platforms. Use this material in your churches, leaders, all you pastors, all you bishops, all you apostles, all you evangelists, prayer warriors, all you ministers. Use this material. People need this in church. They need this in the body of Christ, because some people are so heavenly minded that they're no earthly good. And we need to get deliverance for the divorce rate in the body of Christ. Will you do that? Will you stand in the gap with me? Would you be a new general to help do the shift? To help stand in that it be all gas, no brakes? And that you're hearing what God is saying in the spirit. And that this is spiritual warfare that we are doing on a higher level like never before, to take back families, to take back children, to take back communities, to take back our nation, to take back our world. I love you with the love of God. See you out there in Facebook land. Until next time, one love to you.